the male parties selecting candidates, they are predominantly male, those people, but even when they're women, they have a bias against women, that women do not look the part and act the part of the leader, of the Member of Parliament, and that was an issue that I had to overcome.
Cloud Moves TV is here with Baroness Oona King. She's a member of the House of Lords, the Channel 4 Diversity Executive, and was previously Senior Policy Advisor to the Prime Minister on Equalities and Diversity at 10 Downing Street. She joins us now on Cloud Moves TV. Baroness Oona, thank you very much for joining us. Real pleasure to have you on.
Thanks for having me.
Now, you were the 200th woman and second black woman to be elected to the British Parliament, so you've also been crowned as one of the 100 Great Black Britons of our time. So as a woman and an individual of multi-ethnicity, do you believe that you came up against any challenges or obstacles, for example, a white male may not have had to contend with?
Well, I know that I have definitely suffered in some instances from being a woman of colour, and I know that in some instances I have benefited from being a woman of colour. So, you know, it swings and roundabouts in life, isn't it? The statistics clearly show that overall you're less likely to do well if you're a woman of colour in business, in life, in education, but obviously our whole role in life is to outrun the statistics and the stereotypes that can plague us.
Now, the percentage of women within Parliament has doubled over the last 20 years, but this translates to only 22% of women making up Parliament today. So why do you believe there to be a stark gender imbalance within the UK's political arena, and what would you attribute this to?
Well, the first thing is it is a reflection of society, and we know again that men are able to have more chances and capitalise on the chances that they have for a whole variety of reasons. Some are around the stereotypes women are brought up with, the whole fact that they don't supposedly lean in enough, and then there's just the out and out discrimination that comes from being the principal caregivers, the fact that women aren't able to consolidate career qualifications sometimes, the fact that there is a bias, an unconscious bias, so women will earn less than their male counterparts for doing the same job. So there's all of that in politics the same way there is anywhere else. But what happens in politics is that the cultural values that are most associated with men, the assertiveness, the banging your chest, the being a alpha primate, that comes to the fore in Parliament, and it makes it even less attractive to women, combined with working hours and a sort of sabotage on your own family life or social life, that a lot of sensible people would walk away, and women quite often have to take the risk environment that they're looking at in the whole, and on balance, on the whole, when you look at what a politician is, has stacked against them, a lot of women would just walk away from that and say, what's the point? But on top of that, there's the fact that the male parties selecting candidates, they are predominantly male, those people, but even when they're women, they have a bias against women, that women do not look the part and act the part of the leader, of the Member of Parliament, and that was an issue that I had to overcome.
Now, Baroness Oona, one of the panel discussion topics that going on today at TLA's Women in Tech is examining whether or not companies are sabotaging their own future success because they're not diversifying their gendered workforce enough. Have you seen any evidence of this?
Oh, the evidence that companies are not gender diverse enough is everywhere. I mean, if you look at the numbers of CEOs, women CEOs of FTSE 100 companies, if you look at the statistics, if you interrogate the statistics a bit more, even at fantastic companies, you'll quite often find that even if they manage miraculously to have a 50-50 gender balance, that balance drains away when you move towards the top of the organisation. So yeah, I see that evidence all around, but people have to wake up and smell the coffee. I mean, the report I quoted today from McKinsey shows that if you have a gender balanced workforce, you're 15% more likely to do better than companies that don't. And in terms of ethnicity, multiculturally balanced companies have a 35% more likely chance to do better than companies that don't. That tells us something fundamental about what we are as human beings, about how we take decisions. And there's this great research that shows you can get the cleverest people and put them in one team, and if you put the clever people against a more diverse team, it's the diverse team that can have a range of IQs that aren't as clever as the high IQ team, but they will be the ones that solve the problem more quickly because they have more views being put in. And so who doesn't want to solve the problem? That's what the 21st century is about, solving the problems. So either get with the program, make your company more gender diverse, more multiculturally diverse in terms of thought process, not just the women, whether you've got ethnic minorities, etc. It's about the mindset, and the mindset for success in the 21st century requires diversity.
Now, Baroness Oona, when it comes to raising capital, what would you forecast female CEOs and female leaders, what would you forecast the issues and obstacles that they may have to deal with that male CEOs just may not have to cope with whatsoever?
Well, I think the first thing people have to deal with, and women entrepreneurs have to deal with, is they are considered a risk just by walking through the door. And women entrepreneurs might as well just take this on the chin. Or I don't mean take it on the chin, I mean recognize it out there, get it out on the table. You are considered a risk. It's the same for women filmmakers. It's the same for women across all sectors. Usually women are considered the risk. And so what we heard here there are certain strategies you can put in place, but fundamentally I think one of the most interesting comments was, I'm sick of hearing people say it's time to fix the women. The women are the good guys out there, and I use that terminology on purpose. The women are the good guys. The women are the ones that actually value themselves most realistically. They won't give you all the BS. Oh, we're the very best in the world. Oh, we've got a business plan that's going to deliver you X billion, trillion, zillion. The women are the ones that do what business people want, which is to be realistic about your business plan. And one of my favorite quotes is, if you want to make God laugh, show him your business plan. And so we want, first of all, people not to assume that anyone is of any particular gender, God or a VC. And then we want people in positions of power to recognize their own bias. And what's great about today is it gives people, if you go on the website, go onto the website about Women in Tech, Tech Advocates London, and you will see the practical things you can do to reduce your bias, which all the research shows, whether you're male or female, you will be biased against a woman entrepreneur in comparison to a male entrepreneur. And the research shows that for women to be taken seriously with the same qualifications, they have to be 2.5 times as good as a man. So for women, it means we just have to go out and be even better, I guess.
And just one very last question. Why was it so important for you to come to TLA's Women in Tech event? And what would you say to those people who weren't actually able to make it this year and are thinking about coming next year? What would you say to those individuals?
Well, sorry to state the obvious, but tech is the future of the world. So hey, if you've got any interest in the future of the world, you need to be here. And especially if you want that world to be one where we have more growth, then we need to use all the talent we have available. We don't need to cut out 52% of the workforce just because they're women, or other groups because they're from underrepresented groups, whether that's in terms of ethnicity, whether it's in terms of age, whether it's in terms of disability, sexual orientation, or, as I said, perhaps most importantly, just diversity of thought or social background. We need all that talent, and tech is about how we're going to solve the problems of the 21st century. So if you haven't already got it in your diary for next year, what's wrong with you?
Baroness, thank you very much for joining us. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you. That's Baroness Oona King, member of the House of Lords and Channel 4 Diversity Executive, speaking to us here today. I'm Emma Boyle, and this is Cloud Moves TV.